You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN Emini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things Emini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro. Joining us today, Mr. Michael Borg. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Tuesday, 9th day of December, 2025. Thanks for joining us. Wherever you are, we're just glad to have you right here, right now. We do 2 live broadcasts every trading day. First one's private. You got to be a member or on the free trial to get into that. This broadcast is open to the public. Everybody, everywhere on planet Earth, internet-connected device. Now, if you've not yet taken your 1-week free trial, Michael joins us in about an hour. He'll walk you through step by step how to take the trial. No credit card required. Get 5 consecutive trading days. Weekend does not count against you. And you're not just getting access to the live training room 2 hours a day. You're getting access to everything we do around the clock. See, we go to work Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern. Literally work around the clock until Friday afternoon at 5 p.m. Eastern. So for a week, we're going to treat you just like you're already a member. I want you focused on what's being taught so that at the end of your trial, you can make a well-informed, intelligent decision as to whether or not trading is right. So stick around. When Michael joins us, he'll walk you through the steps. We'll have your indicators up and indicating today. Your trial will officially start tomorrow, and it'll run all the way through next Tuesday afternoon, 5 p.m. Eastern. Now, when the live training room ends each day at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, take a 30-minute break, come back for this broadcast, the noon broadcast, which, like I said, is open to the public. There's 2 different ways to join this broadcast live. Best way, you only have to do it once. Go to mytradingiq.com. Scroll down the page to where it says Noon Broadcast. Click the link, fill out the 30-second registration form. Done. What will happen going forward is every trading day you'll get an email about an hour before this broadcast starts. Email, there's a link. So at 12 noon Eastern, just click the link in the email and it automatically logs you into our platform. The benefit there is you have access to the question box, so you can ask questions and participate in discussion. Of course, there will be days you're out of your office, away from your desktop, but you still want to join live. Some days you'll be busy, so you can't join live, but you want to get caught up later. So you can do both of those via our YouTube channel, which is easy to remember. youtube.com/CFRN. That's the Christian Financial Radio Network since 2005. But all you have to remember is youtube.com/CFRN. Not only do we broadcast live every trading day on our YouTube channel, as we're doing right now, simulcasting, but we also archive each and every daily broadcast. Currently, there are over 2,900 daily episodes archived for your educational and viewing pleasure. youtube.com/CFRN. On the left side of the screen, see our schedule for each afternoon broadcast. Dive right into our daily devotional. We're on day 4 of 7. Topic is anxious for nothing. Now, yesterday's scripture was Philippians 4:6-7 from the NIV translation. Today I'm going to share the same scripture with you. Today I'm going to do it Message translation. Beginning in verse 6. Philippians 4. Don't fret or worry. Instead of worrying, pray. Let petitions and praises shape your worries into prayers, letting God know your concerns. You know it, sense of God's wholeness, everything coming together for good. Come and settle you down. It's wonderful what happens. Christ displaces worry at the center of your life. Jesus meets us in the middle of anxiety, even when we don't feel him at first. I'm going to share the story of a young lady named Chelsea. She writes this and says that she first experienced anxiety right after graduating college. So here's her story, how God brought her out of darkness and into his peace. Feelings of fear, worry, depression, so real. We eat because of the daily nausea. I slept more than 12 hours every night. Yet every morning it was a battle to even make myself get out of bed. I was so wrapped up in my own mind that most days I simply speak. I sought help from my family, a doctor, a counselor, pastors, and friends. My dark days seemed to be. We all experience dark days, and those dark days may last weeks, years. But if you know the story of Good Friday, the day Jesus gave his life, you know there is good news. Friday is dark, Sunday is coming. Have a hope in the darkness, and our hope has a name. His name is Jesus. On my darkest day, a Friday in July, finally drew near to him, just as he had been drawing near to me. I prayed, Jesus, help me reject the lies of the enemy. Help me overcome my anxious heart. Help me trust that you are in control. Help me believe that the Spirit who raised you from the dead dwells in me. 2 days later, Sunday, I woke up without the heaviness of depression, without the feeling of anxiety. First time in so long I could feel his peace. And I experienced a miraculous healing that can only be explained by the goodness of God. During my dark days, Jesus gave me hope. Even when I couldn't feel him, he was there. Every single day that I felt far from him, he was pulling me closer to himself. I don't know if you'll experience the sudden, miraculous healing from your pain like I did, but I know for sure God is with you. Jesus understands human suffering. And he cares. He cared enough to leave heaven and die for us into our darkness, once and for all. The Bible says in John 1:4, his life brought light to everyone. The light shines in the darkness. The darkness never extinguish it. Remember, Sunday's coming. And thank you, Chelsea, for sharing a personal story with us. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, bring every worry and every need to you. Hearts full of thanksgiving. Quiet our anxious thoughts and surround us with your peace. Peace that guards our hearts and minds in Christ Jesus. Teach us to trust you fully. Rest in your. It's in Jesus' name. Believe and pray. What he said. Amen and happy Tuesday. Give you the numbers from around the world. Go to the news, then we'll go to the charts. Starting here in the U.S. with the cash markets, or the indices as they're called. Dow's up 86 points. Nasdaq's up 51. S&P 500 up 13. The Russell 2000 up 17. Movers, no shakers, but they are same color. In the commodity basket, crude oil down 64 cents, trading 58.24 last. It's a drop of well over 1%. Gold up $24.40, trading $4,242.10 an ounce last. Silver up $2.46. That's a gain of 4.25%, almost 4.25%. Now, I mentioned this yesterday, and I mention it again today. When the price of silver moves $1, that's worth $5,000 per contract traded. And during this session, which began last night at 6 p.m. Eastern, silver is up $2. Asian markets at the close. The Nikkei gained 73 points. Shanghai dropped 14. The Hang Seng fell 330. It's well over %. And in the European markets at the close, FTSE down 3. DAX up 126. CAC down. So we had a mixed day in Asia. It was a mixed day for the UK. At the moment, is a green Radio Tuesday here in the US of A. But I caution you, be careful on the upside. We got the Fed tomorrow. I think what we're seeing today is a continuation of a head fake. That's just my opinion. Do what you want to do. But when we do get to the charts, I'll show you why I think what I think. Okay. Global news. U.S. Supreme Court heard oral arguments yesterday in Trump versus Slaughter, a case that could expand presidential authority over independent agencies. The case centers on President Donald Trump's decision to fire Federal Trade Commission member Rebecca Kelly Slaughter without cause. That decision defied a 1914 law and a subsequent 1935 Supreme Court ruling that says FTC members can be removed only for inefficiency, neglect of duty, or malfeasance. The court yesterday appeared poised to overturn or limit its 1935 ruling, which Chief Justice John Roberts characterized as a dried husk. Roberts cited the FTC's expanded executive functions in the past 90 years, which could place it under the executive branch's purview. Trump has fired members of various agencies, citing unitary executive theory. While yesterday's legal challenge could have implications for those cases, the Supreme Court suggests Trump's firing of Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook is different, as that AG is structured uniquely as a quasi-private entity. I don't know why they felt the need to use the term quasi-private entity. The Federal Reserve is a 100% private entity. It is a private corporation, answers to no one except the wealthy families who own it. The Federal Reserve has as much to do with the government as Federal Express. Tricky naming, right? Yeah, that was designed to fool, hundreds of millions of Americans over the years that it was somehow a government entity. It isn't. Don't believe me? That's okay. Google it. Get to the truth. Paramount Skydance yesterday presented Warner Brothers Discovery shareholders with a $108.4 billion offer for the entire company, including its production studios, HBO Max streaming platform, and cable networks such as CNN. A hostile takeover bypasses Warner's board, which decided last week to sell Warner's studio and streaming arms to Netflix for $82.7 billion, while spinning the cable networks into a new publicly traded company. Paramount's bid offers shareholders $2.25 more per share, accuses Warner's board of unfairly favoring Netflix in a weeks-long bidding process. Netflix counters that the value of the new standalone cable company will exceed the difference between the offers. Paramount has also raised antitrust concerns regarding Netflix's streaming industry market share. And that's the gotcha. Paramount's bid has financial backing from an investment firm run by President Donald Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and Abu Dhabi's sovereign wealth firm, and Larry Ellison, co-founder of Oracle and father of Paramount's CEO. Power play. Hostile takeovers. Those are all interesting. The U.S. unveiled a $12 billion package yesterday to support farmers affected by trade disruptions, particularly losses from reduced exports to China, which was the third largest market for U.S. agricultural products in 2024 at nearly $25 billion annually. Roughly $11 billion is earmarked for a new USDA assistance program that will offer one-time payments to farmers who grow row crops, such as corn, soybeans, and sorghum, while $1 billion will be reserved for specialty crop growers. Funding will be distributed by the end of February and is expected to come from tariff revenue. As of October, the U.S. had collected roughly $195 billion in customs duties fiscal year 2025, more than 250% of what it collected in fiscal year 2024. Yet they say tariffs don't. Soybean and sorghum exports were hit hardest as China, which historically bought more than half of U.S. exports, paused purchases amid tariff disputes. Chinese purchases have lagged despite trade truce promises, leaving farmers with lower crop prices, rising input costs. Separately, China's trade surplus has reached $1 trillion for the first time. Turning to Wall Street. The stocks turned into the green this morning as the Federal Reserve's December policy meeting kicked off. We're going to get the FOMC announcement tomorrow, p.m. Eastern. And federal data showed job openings unexpectedly ticked higher even as layoffs jumped. No, nobody would monkey with that data, would they? 2 days ahead of the FOMC? No. Please. U.S. stocks found positive momentum through the morning after long delayed data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics showed job openings ticked up in October in a move that ran contrary to forecast. But labor market worries persist. Even in the JOLTS report, which also found layoffs increased in the month. Spotlight is on the Fed's 2-day meeting and its final policy decision of the year, due tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern. Markets are all but convinced of getting a quarter-point rate cut to match similar moves in September and October. The odds currently at 89.6% that we will get. Given that investors have switched to watching the Fed for clues to whether 2026 will bring easing, chances of that are less certain in the wake of December's hawkish cut. White House economic advisor Kevin Hassett, largely seen as the favorite for the next Fed chairman, has struck a cautious tone, saying it would be responsible to set out plans for the next 6 months. Trump suggested in an interview released today that he would be looking for a new chair to immediately move to cut rates. Well, Kevin, I guess you just cost yourself a job there. Say that. I guess he doesn't really want the job. President Trump is hitting the road today. That was a good road trip. To address Americans' affordability concerns head on. But it's a trip that comes as his rhetoric and actions often appear at odds with each other. On one front, Trump and his team often seem to dismiss the sense that everyday costs are becoming harder to manage, or at least whether the White House holds any responsibility for it. Call it affordability or anything you want, but the Democrats caused the affordability problem. I know that, you know that, and Trump explained that yesterday from the White House, as he again claimed that prices now are falling for all. Scott Bessent said, "I think the president's frustrated by the media coverage of what's going on." And he argued that inflation worries are overblown. Come on, we had 9% inflation under Joe Biden. Now we're percent. On the other hand, Trump and his team have taken a series of actions in apparent acknowledgement that affordability is more than a media creation. Recent weeks have seen the president reverse some of his tariffs on some grocery store items. He's also floated ideas like $2,000 tariff rebate checks and even 50 mortgages to lower money costs. Really not a fan of that 50-year. And these tariff rebates, I think they should go to pay down debt. But let's face it, are we ever going to get that debt paid down? Even with 0% interest rates? I don't know. But I know that a lot of families could use $2,000. Now, a lot of what Trump did in the one big beautiful bill, it doesn't kick in until next year. As people start filing their taxes into January, beginning of February, I think they're going to have some aha moments. The president is scheduled to speak at 6:10 p.m. Eastern tonight to deliver remarks on the economy. His team has said he will spotlight both his economic record and his efforts to end inflation. He may also announce new initiatives to address affordability. The president has often suggested that he personally believes his affordability problem is one of perception rather than a real pain point. In the Oval Office last Wednesday, Trump said affordability is the greatest con job by Democrats and claimed his previous actions prove he is the one actually first on the issue, and you'll see the results soon. Don't forget who got us into this mess. Biden and company. President Trump indicated he would judge a new Federal Reserve chair by whether they would immediately move to cut interest rates. Trump responded yes when asked in an interview with Politico if a quick reduction of borrowing costs would be a litmus test for his hand-picked central bank leader. Yes, well, this guy too should too, Trump told Politico in the interview released today, referring to current Fed Chair Jerome Powell. I think he's a combination of not a smart person and doesn't like Trump. Trump's comments were a key signal to potential new Fed chairs on what the president would expect from them if they were to be nominated to the central bank. And I guess, like I said, Kevin Hassett just doesn't want the job. I don't want it either. Essilor Luxottica. Thought I couldn't say that. Neither did I. Is bidding big on smart eyewear, and the gamble is about to be tested. Its Ray-Ban Meta glasses, powered by artificial intelligence, have delivered their first meaningful revenue boost this year. But analysts warn that privacy concerns and a wave of new rivals could limit. Frames launched in 2021 promise to upend the smartphone era by letting wearers take photos and videos through tiny cameras in the lenses, stream content to Meta apps, and talk to an AI assistant. Yet the same feature that promises to make the AI-powered frames, born from the collaboration between Mark Zuckerberg's Meta, French-Italian eyewear giant Essilor Luxottica, into a must-have device, are sparking concerns, as bystanders have little control over being recorded or how their data is handled. AI smart glasses raise significant privacy concerns. Main issues are linked to the use of people's personal data to train AI models, transparency for bystanders. Meta Platforms, which owns Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp, and generates the bulk of its revenue from advertising, is leveraging user data to power artificial intelligence tools, a move that brought the company to face scrutiny over data practices. Well, I've looked at them. Current price point, I wouldn't buy them, but they should be fun in the future as they become better at what they do and become more. I mean, just a pair of regular Ray-Bans. I'm talking about the original, not the knockoffs. That'll set you back $100 at least. All right, what else we got? Australia has become the first country to ban social media for children under 16. I'll say that again, let it sink in. Australia has banned social media for children the age of 16. Got a child or grandchild or great grandchild that's under 16, imagine if you took away their TikTok and their Facebook and Snapchat and all that. You have a mutiny on your hands, right? Well, it goes into effect at midnight. 10 of the biggest platforms were ordered to block children from midnight, face fines of up to $50 million, $33 million US under the new law, which drew criticism from major technology companies and free speech advocates, welcomed by parents and child advocates. The ban is being closely watched by other countries considering similar age-based measures amid growing concerns about the impact of social media on children's health and safety. Well, I mean, we don't let our kids drink an 8-pack of Miller Ponies and smoke a pack of Marlboro before they go to school in the morning, now do we? That was my breakfast of champions on. I went to high school every day. But I only went to high school because the law said I had to. I had a 40-hour school, which was fine. It was public education, so I mean, it wasn't. Former Chicago mayor and Barack Obama chief of staff Rahm Emanuel praised the move, writing, "It's time for America to step up its game and do the same as Australia. Parents have been battling big tech all alone. They need a helping hand to protect their kids," he said in a post on X yesterday. Video message that Sky News Australia said would be played in schools this week. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese said the ban aimed to support young Australians and ease the pressure that can come from endless feeds and algorithms. Now, this is all good in theory, but it's going to take all of about 5 minutes for these kids to figure out how to get around these guardrails. They were talking about it on the news last night in an interview. And the guy laid out exactly how you can circumvent the whole thing. And I looked at my wife and I said, should they really be giving instructions on how to beat the system? I mean, obviously they're going to figure out ways, but need to tell them on national television? But one kid said, when it came time for the verification test, I just held up a photograph of my mother in front of the camera on the laptop, and it said, okay. A judge, now what's gonna end up having to happen, because they won't send these kids to jail. If they start fining their parents, these kids use some method to circumvent this law. After a couple parents get hit with a heavy fine, parents are going to start clamping down. Those kids are going to get grounded and allowances taken away, self and their smartphones taken away. Which is probably that's probably the best way to do it right there. Just take their phone. Judge has ruled the Justice Department can unseal materials from the sex trafficking case against Ghislaine Maxwell. The move comes as the department faces a December 19th deadline to unseal files related to billionaire sex offender Jeffrey Epstein after Congress passed a law requiring the materials to be made public. Judge Paul Engelmeyer issued the ruling response to a DOJ request to unseal grand jury transcripts and exhibits, along with investigative materials from the case. The ruling could lead to the unsealing of hundreds of thousands of documents. This is the second ruling that allows previously sealed materials to be made public. The Florida judge recently ruled that records from an abandoned grand jury investigation into Epstein in the 2000s can be sealed. President Donald Trump pledged to release the Epstein files while campaigning, but later said there's nothing to see here. And I really think he was trying to, help some important people like Larry Summers and others save face. Finally said, you know what? You want it? You have it. But I don't think you're going to like what you find. So, the president has, of course, faced speculation that the files may contain damaging information on him, but they haven't been able to find anything. His name appears because he was the president. So, yeah, you can find his name in there hundreds or thousands of times in all the gazillions of documents. Nothing incriminating. All right, let's go to the local news. 247. It's our 24/7 around-the-clock Emini alert service. It's not just Emini, it's also crude silver. Currently in week 384. Over the last 384 weeks, we've issued over 21,000 individual handcrafted alerts. And what we've averaged on a weekly basis is 20% or less of the alert stopped out based on simple market structure and a simple process we teach all of our passport holders. Valerie did the recap this morning at 5:30 a.m. Eastern. She was up early. She'll update it, of course, this afternoon as she does each day. At the time she did the recap, since the markets opened Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern, we've issued a total of 27 logic alerts. Don't confuse those with the concierge trade alerts, two different animals. So at the time of the recap, we were still waiting on the outcome of 11. It gave us 16 actionable alerts. So far, 1 or 6% would have been stopped out. Again, based on simple market structure and a simple process we teach all of our passport holders. Now, the logic alerts have an entry price, long or short, initial target designed to help you get your goal for the day, and then additional targets, and then final trade to target. Logic alerts are created to help you how to read a chart. If you're trying to trade and don't know how to read a chart, blind, and it won't end well. You got to do things one step at a time and in the proper order. Learn how to read the chart, and you can learn how to trade. Simple. Logic alerts can come out anytime around the clock. Traders around the globe, our day session is their night session. Futures trade around the clock, so a logic alert could come out at 2 a.m. or p.m. as opportunity presents. If you never trade a single logic alert, at least use them for the purpose intended. That is, learn how to read a chart. If you don't know where to anticipate resistance and where to anticipate support, you got a long road ahead of you. But if you use the logic alerts properly, the way they're intended, like I said, you don't have to trade them. I don't know why you wouldn't, but you don't have to. Just use them as they're intended. Draw the horizontal lines. Soon you won't need them because you'll be able to read the chart yourself. Now, 384 weeks, that is a long time, over 7 years. But many years before the Logic 247, we had our original alert service, Concierge Trade Alerts. They're different in a lot of different ways. The purpose of this discussion, I'll simply say they don't come out around the clock. They're published as a static report shortly before the Globex Open each evening. Tuesday session we're in began last night at 6 p.m. Eastern. 5 minutes before the markets opened, all of our traders had all of these targets. S&P, the Dow, the Russell, NQ, silver. So as we go through the individual markets, and you see these targets drawn out on the chart, remember, our traders and those on the trial had this information. 5 minutes. Let's go to the daily chart. Bellwether, the S&P 500. Now, yesterday I explained what all these lines are. Okay. See right there where the black step line crossed blue and climbing, and price pulled back to the BBC. Price always reverts to the mean. In our case, the mean is green. We call it BBC. Price is above the BBC. We're bullish and expect higher prices. Prices below the BBC. We're bearish and expect lower prices. BBC prices. Now, this is a daily chart, so imagine how many times this happens on a 30-minute chart, just where all of the alerts are created. This is your big picture look. Every one of these that black step line crosses blue and climbing, look for retracement back to the BBC. And from April 24th, November 7th, every pullback held. Sometimes they last 4 days, 3 days, 1 day, 6 days. This 6-day pullback that held, see every candle is touching the green line. It held. From there, we went on to put in new all-time historic highs, both intraday and closing. Then price got below the BC, and the pullback held, and the pullback held. back. So now we got a situation where the black step line, and we talked about this a lot last week, that if price did not take out this high, and basically a double top there, that we were going to see the black step line cross timing. And as you can see, that is exactly what's happened. So now what do we expect? Same thing we expected every time it happened all year. Retracement to the BBC. Now, step line crosses red and falling, the same thing. Price pulled back to the BBC. Price always reverts to the mean. Back holds more often. So, I gave you the numbers from around the world. They were all in the green. Okay. But that's going to change. Okay. Of the day, that as potential support. 68.44.75. Then yesterday's low. 68.35 and a quarter. And then that puts you basically at the 62% extension. 68.20. And then the daily BBC. This is where it'll get real interesting. Get to the BBC. Back hold. Not. If it holds, then maybe we get that infamous Santa Claus rally to the end of the doesn't hold. Well, the next spot for major support, you got the 50.38. This area right here. Turn to blue. That could happen quick. So you have it. It's doing over. You cannot control the market. But you can understand how price flows. And you can be prepared to take advantage of opportunity as it presents itself. As I said, all alerts are created on the 30-minute chart. Both the concierge trade alerts and Logic 7. Vertical lines separate today, Tuesday, here Monday. Back here is Friday. Good to see Friday. Is the horizontal lines are the weekly trading zones. They're published Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. Once they're published, morning they're carved in stone for the entire week. They don't change in any way whatsoever. Price drops to a weekly zone, we expect support. Price rallies up to a weekly zone, we expect resistance. Until proven otherwise. As we traded through this zone, we then pulled back, and it became support. Support. Drop below it. Double bottom on the session. Follow that over. See this wick sticking up and this wick sticking down. If you put your cursor right in between the two, that not nail that double. But fail to hit the long target. Not only did we fail to hit it, hit those three big wicks sticking up. Okay, that tells you, in most cases, price is about to drop. I think you're seeing it drop right before your eyes. Okay. Now, only one of three things happens when price encounters a weekly trading zone. 70% of the times consolidation, 20% of the time rejection, 10% of the time the slice. So we'll see what happens here. This could be one that slices through. I think we're going to find some support in the end of the close today. I think we're going to test this double bottom, short target. This was the open last night. See, we never actually touched that long target. That in and of itself, and these wicks, it's a sign of weakness. Okay. Now off this double bottom, now price traded all the way down here and then all the way back up in 130 candle at 5:30 a.m. Eastern. So then we get a doji, which is often an indication that the market's going to reverse if it's in the proper context, and in this time it was. And so remember, we got the Fed tomorrow, so just a sideways shuffle till 2 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, not be expected. So maybe the market finds support here. The Dow, that's where we opened last night. Now, we had a big leg. Now you see right here the step line, crossed red and falling, and what did price do? Back to the BBC. Price always reverts to the mean. Pullback held. Then we got above the BBC and we ran into resistance at the zone. Then here's that odd move at 5:30. Okay. Then, we had a red candle all the way down, and then we finished green up. This area of support right here is not one I would have called. Okay. Once you learn how to read the chart, that doesn't mean you're going to be 100% profitable all the time. This drop. It's all coming together based off of this, right? So look how far. Okay, we hit the long target. Now we've hit the short target. And we found support at the zone. Still one more zone below. Today's only Tuesday. Last night, crept along, see, tried to pop up, tried to go low. This is somewhat typical action ahead of a Fed announcement. Plenty of volatility. Russell here last night. See resistance. Dropped down support. Not a spot I would have necessarily looked for support, but you got to trade what's in front of you. Get a leg, a retracement, a leg, consolidation. There's that odd 5:30 move. I don't know what happened 5:30 a.m. this morning. Eastern, I was asleep. It's a true story. Hit the short target, bounce, hit the short target again. Now that short target is just based off yesterday's low. Nothing complicated. And it bounced us all the way up to yesterday's high. Look at that. Yesterday's high and today's high. It's the same. Yesterday's low, today's low. It's the same. See that? Definitely know where resistance is. Definitely know where support is. Price is in the process of pulling back to the BTC. Big question, of course, is does it hold? Not. It holds more often than it doesn't. Guarantee this one or any is going to hold. Okay. If we do trade through, be sure and keep your eye right here. Cross took place. That's when the blue line gets above the green. You have a bullish cross that leads to an extended move. Actually, I don't know if that really works. Yeah. This is going to be an important price, important area. So just watch 25.26 on the Russell. If price can get through the VBC. NQ. Resistance at the zone, support at the zone. Publish these zones for December 14th of 2009. So, got 5 more days, 16 years. Publish these zones for tick. Spiked it a little. Anyway, the open last night, we attempted higher. Got to the high of this candle right here. That was enough to send us down. Again, not an area I would have looked for support, but that's what the market did, and we're right here. Step line cross blue and climb. See that? All the way down to the zone, bounce back up to the C, the pullback holds, sends us back down to the zone and the short target. We actually spiked the short target, turned it into a rally. So now we're looking for back to the VBC. See that wick sticking up? Got this one. See a retracement back to the VBC. Getting hit hard. The open last night. Almost made it to the short target. Not quite. Buyers came in. Go look over here. You'll see why. See the area that ties into cent price all the way back up to the zone. Resistance. See the consolidation happens 70% of the time. Then we dropped it through the BC. At that much red and falling chasing price, well, something like this. Crude's down around 58. It's down to 50. And it's actually translated into lower prices at the gas pump. We're almost at $3. And here in Phoenix, we have no refining facility. So while some places in America have $2 gasoline, we're thankful for $3. Now, notice the step line is about to cross red and falling. As we consolidate sideways, that should send price right back up to the C. If it holds, we'll get another leg to the downside. Cross right there. Resistance. All right. Michael's here. He's going to give us a recap of what happened in the live training room this morning. And a little live trading if time permits. I'll come back, finish with gold and silver, wrap things up with our...
All right. Here we are.
Hey, looks good.
Good. Hang on. Get down to here. What month is that? That does not look right, suddenly. Oh, no. That does not look right, suddenly.
I believe it's been a year since that guy shot that United Health CEO in the back. Broad daylight.
Wow, has it been a whole year now? Wow.
Today marks 1 year.
Okay, this is better. Wow. Yeah, so he's been in prison this whole time.
Yeah, and he's become like some kind of folk hero. Well, it's the world's upside down.
It is. It is. All right. Here, let me do this. Here we are. All right. Ready? All righty. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Tuesday, the 9th day of December, 2025. Now, if you have not taken a free trial with us and you'd like to, go here to mytradingiq.com, click on the purple button. There's no credit card required for the trial. Just click on that purple button and it will bring you to this registration page. On this page, all that we ask for is your name, your email, and your phone number. Down at the bottom gives you TradingView login ID. Right, you got to make sure you give us that TradingView login ID. If you don't give us that, we don't know that you took the free trial, so make sure you give us that. I'm sorry, if you don't give us that, we can't put the indicators on your charts for you. So make sure you give us that so we can get your indicators indicating on your charts, right? We had a pretty good day today. It was really kind of slow when we spread everything out. It felt, I felt really slow this morning when I started out. And the spreadsheet, we had some errors and some calculations that were in a column that I used to have. I used to have a column here and a column here. And those columns, the data in that column wasn't correct. And it was throwing off. It wasn't actually throwing these numbers off, but it was making these numbers not look right. And it was making me have to do these numbers manually every month. So I corrected that during the break. And fortunately, the number that we're given down here is right. The number that we're calculating here has been right. There used to be a number right here that I took off. There used to be a bunch of zeros right there that I took off. So if you can read the spreadsheet, you can read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Today we're up 74 ticks on the NQ, 20 ticks on the YM, 33 ticks on gold, and 28 ticks on the ES. That put us up $1,150 this morning. It took 13 minutes and 9 trades this morning to get $1,650 with 10 contracts on, 165 with 1 contract. And it was a good total of 44 trades this morning with 5 stop outs. So on the day, we were hitting 88% of our trades were break even or better today. All right. On the month now, we're at $8,372 over 6 trading days, averaging $1,395 per contract per 2-hour trading day. So far this month, we've traded, this should be a 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That should be a 7. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That should be a 7. Okay. There. Averaging $1,196 per contract per 2-hour trading day. Now all these numbers, I'm pretty sure I got all these numbers right this morning. But you know what? I copied everything down. So we started at 204.7. These should be 211 right here. This should probably be 53. 46 plus 7. This should be 53. This should be 620. As I said, I redid this during the break, so I forgot to update this. And that would be 620. Okay, there. So on the month now, we're at $8,372 over 7 business days, averaging $1,196 per contract per 2-hour business day. On the year, we're at $261,830 over 211 business days, averaging $1,240 per contract per 2-hour business day. Following the 24/20 blueprint. Now these numbers I think they were about the same yesterday when I did this yesterday. But this column here, I had to change. I had to go through every month by month, and change to make sure this was reflecting the right number. And it was. It was pulling it from a column over here that wasn't getting right, so I had to correct it every month. But now it is correct, and I have this a different color, blue, to let me know that every month I need to copy that formula down. See, the formula is this. It's this number divided by 10 times the number of months that you're at. That's what that is. So anyway, 29.33 hours total on the year. If you were to do it just like I did and quit trading when you got the goal today, you'd be up $213,594, averaging $7,281 per hour. Okay. Okay. So most of our trades were on the NQ and the YM today. We had a fair number on gold. We did trade gold today. It wasn't spread out. That wasn't given the spread that it was given yesterday. So we were okay trading it today. And we did all right with it. All the way back here to the beginning, it looks like we didn't have any stop loss in there. Gold anyway. All right, let me get out the question box in case anybody has any questions. And Jimmy, are you in here right now? Jimmy, let me see. Scroll up. Jimmy is not in here. Michael R., I emailed you the current spreadsheet the way that I have it done right now. So I just got rid of that column V that we both worked so hard on. I just got rid of it. It wasn't adding value. All right, on the gold right here. Our very first trade of the morning on gold, we picked up one tick, and we picked up another one, and we picked up another one. So at that point, we were at 3. Then finally, we got 5 that got us to 8. We went from 8 to 23, so that was a big trade right there. We had 15 ticks. And then went from 23 to 27, 27 to 28, and there's one more trade went from 28 to 33 somewhere. This is probably one from 28 to 33, and there's one small trade in here somewhere. From 27 to 28. Anyway, during the break, we had this right here. It would have been a break even if I had taken it. This right here would have stopped me out if I had taken it. That would have been a good trade. That would have been a good trade. That would have been a good trade. That would have been a break even. Was that a trade right there? Yeah, that would have been a break even. That, shoot, it looks like it would have stopped out. I'd have gotten it. And that was it on the gold. We ended up with plus 33 on the gold this morning, right? It doesn't have anything going on right now. The YM, control and back on this. Okay, on the YM, our first trade on the YM right here, we picked up one tick, then we picked up another one there that got us to 2. And then we stopped out, put us at minus 13, got 1 to minus 12, then 5 to minus 7, then 5 to minus 2, then 5 more to plus 3, then 1 more to plus 4, then 6 to get us to plus 10. Then went from 10 to 34, so we had a big trade on that one, 10 to 34, and from 34 to 35, and then we stopped out again right there. That was my mistake. That shouldn't have been a trade. Went from 35 down to 20. Okay, so we stopped out twice. Now I just want to keep track of the number of stop outs I'm counting in here because we stopped out twice there. And I wasn't sure how many stop outs. I think we had 5, but I originally had 4 written down, but I changed it to 5 because I was pretty sure we had 5. Anyway, during the break. This was a trade right there. That would have been really nice when that gap down kept going. Not a lot of trades here during the break. That would have been a long right there. That would have worked out okay. And that was it. Okay, so we ended up with plus 20 on the YM. Right. In the ES, we didn't have a ton of trades on the ES, but they were all good ones on the ES. Here is, we got the goal for the day on this one, I think. We got the 8 ticks on that. That got us the goal for the day, I think. No, it wasn't actually. That isn't where we got the goal for the day, but we did pick up 8 ticks there. And then 4 more there to get us to 12, and then 4 more there to get us to 16, and then 8 there to get us to 24, and then so we had 8, then 4 to 12, then 4 to 16, then 8 to 24, then 4 to 28, and I didn't add this one on at the end. I don't remember what we got on that. So you go back and look. Hold on. Let me go check and see. You know what? I'm not going to bother with that. But we got something else there. Looks like it was a big move. I don't know what I ended up getting on it. I think I got 4 ticks on it, but I'm not going to write it down right now. During the break, there was a trade right here that probably would have worked out to a break even for me. A trade right here that would have been profitable. A trade right there that would have been really close to stopping out right there, but it was only 1 tick beyond the bar, so it probably wouldn't have stopped out there and given some profit. Then the next opportunity, we didn't have any more. That was it on the ES. Okay, and then the NQ. You know, we had a bunch of trades on the NQ today. Let's go all the way back to the beginning on the NQ. Here we are. All right, so on the NQ, our first trade here was 4 ticks. So I think, well, we got the goal for the day. It was a combination of, it was 9 trades, so we had a mix of things. I think we had 1 on the YM, we had 8 on the ES. Now, we had stopped out on the YM, so we had to come back from that when we finally got the goal for the day. I think we were -7 on the YM. We finally got the goal for the day. I don't know. I don't remember. But the way it worked out with the NQ today, we started out with 4. Then we stopped out, put us at -21. Then we picked up 4 to get us to -17. That is blue because it didn't come out of the oversold. I don't know what I was thinking. Then this one I did twice. We went from -17. I picked up 4 ticks on the first one, went to -13, and then I picked up another 4 ticks. It looks like on the next one we went to -9, and then wait a minute. Went from -9 to +11 somewhere. That might have been in here. We went from -9 to +11, and then we stopped out here. Somewhere in here we went from -9 to +11. And then we stopped out, went back to -14. Then I picked up 8 there to -6, 4 to -2, 4 more to +2, 4 more to +6. I had my stop going break even +4. That's why there are all these 4 tick trades in here. Then went from +6 to 14, so that was 8. 14 to 18, that was 4. Then 18 to 50, so that was a good trade there, 32 ticks. And then 50 to 54, 54 to 62, 62 to 70, 70 to 74, and that is where we ended up right there, 70 to 74. Whew. All right, so during the break, let's go through here quickly so we can get in there and start trading, make some money. During the break, not a lot of trades in here. This looks like 1 right here that would have been a decent trade. Another one right there would have been a decent trade. And then nothing there. Nothing there. This would have been trade here. That would have stopped out, I think. I don't think it would have gotten to break even. It was just missing enough to get to break even. And that was it. So not a lot of trades during the break either. On any of the markets, not a lot of trades during the break. It's been kind of quiet. FOMC tomorrow, so it might be kind of quiet today. Let me just see who all is in here. Okay, for those of you guys who might normally go to my Wednesday meetings, it's not going to be tomorrow. It's going to be on Thursday. Okay, just letting you know now. You get emails about it, but I have a doctor's appointment. All right, on the ES. Now we just need to down close here. We get back to the live trading right now. Okay, we're back to live trading. We just need to down close here. Let me find my DOMs. I know my DOMs. Can't find them right now. Need them to place trades. Okay, Oops. That one. Down, down, down. Here we are. We need a down close here on the ES for a short. Okay, down close here on the ES would be a valid short trade. That would be the only index going down right now. We're pretty close to the YBR flipping right here, so I actually hope it doesn't happen, but we need an up close on the YM to have a long trade, a down close on the ES to have a short trade, and the NQ is not going to decide either one right now. Gold is in the green, and the NQ are both in the green. So the YM could be a trade here on an up close, and the ES trade on a down close. I hope they don't both go in opposite directions. You're going to get one of those, not both, but if you do get both, I hope they both turn out to be break even or better. But they're both trades here so far. Now the YM has a low here of 88. That's still going to be a trade. We need the up close on that. Now if it gets down below, 86, then it won't be a trade anymore. Okay, it drops below 86. It won't be a trade. But right now, because it's an up close right here, it'll still be a valid trade. Okay, and the ES needs to close down, the YM needs to close up, the NQ needs to get down to the midpoint, so we need a down close on the NQ to get oversold and get to the midpoint, and then an up close to get a trade out of it. Gold needs to get down to the midpoint. There's the up close on the YM, so the YM triggered. Here it is. The ES did not trigger, but the YM did. So we're in the YM. The ES hopefully is going to move up a little bit more and flip the YBR, and it is. So we're going to cancel the ES trade. Okay, ES trade is canceled, and this is working out perfectly. +5 on the YM. No trade on the ES. +5 on the YM. Okay. I'm going to go to +10 on the YM. All right, now the YM should get up here to 718. We're out with 10, but we should get up to 718 on that. Okay, so that was a nice long trade right there on that guy. And I cleaned this up a little bit too, this part down here. Okay, today is 12/9. And this is our 12th day keeping track of this stuff. Okay, and so on the YM, we just picked up 10 ticks. 1 trade, 0 stop loss. Okay, copy that down to here. And that's where we stand so far. Right. So what I did down here is the total so far that we've done in these sessions, the total number of days that we've done it, the average with 10 contracts on in these sessions, and if you had one contract to be that, if you had one contract to be that total in the 12 sessions that we've done, be up 1,092.50 and averaging $91.04 per session. So that's almost the goal for the day in these little 10 or 15 minute sessions that we're having here. Okay, the YM did not get into the oversold. If we got into the oversold, we'd have a chance at another trade here. I don't want this one to close down. I want to go up a little bit more and then close down. The ES has a chance for a long trade now. The NQ did have a chance, but it doesn't now. The NQ needs an up close, 2 down closes, and an up close. Right, so an up close is 1, 2 down closes, 3, and up close. So you're 4 bars away from a potential trade on the NQ right now, minimum. And same thing here on YM right now. Actually, you need a down close, so you're 5 bars away. You need down close, 2 up closes, 2 down closes, and an up close 6 bars away. Okay, there's the down close, and it didn't go down, so it's going to change that calculation too. It's going to end up being 7 bars away at least. And the NQ needs to get into the overbought. It needs to complete the cycle. The ES is the closest thing. The ES and gold right now, the closest thing is to a trade. They both need down closes to get into the oversold, and they both need to hit the midpoint. Okay, All right, so we hit the midpoint on the gold. Now we just need the up close on the gold. We've almost hit the midpoint on the S. We need the down close on the S. That will get us into the oversold hand at the midpoint. There it is on the gold. Okay. Here's the trade on the gold. All right, here it is. Stop is plus 1 tick. And we're out with 1 tick on the gold. Now the ES is at the point where it could give us a trade now. Right, the YM flipped the YBR down, bearish. The NQ is not going to give us anything, but the ES could. The low on the ES is 60.50, so we buy in 62.50 on the ES. Okay. Got one little tick over here on that guy. Go fill that out. One. So we're up $60 per contract in this session, 600 with 10 contracts on. Need an up close on this. Need an up close on the ES. That's the closest thing we have to a trade right now. It's got a little of 60.50, so we buy in 62.50 on that. The NQ is not going to be a trade. It looks like it's going to flip the YBR down. I almost hope we don't get a trade here on the ES right now. Because I think all the indices are looking like they want to go down. There they are. We have the trade in place, so we'll just see what we get. I want to go out here and see where we are. Okay, so on the day, we're still below the open right now on the day, so it's a red day right now so far. About one more here. Let's get a little bit green. 218. The ES still hasn't done it. And the volume today, the volume on this is 21,000 compared to 620,000. So we're not ready to roll yet. Not even close. All right. Does anybody have any questions at this point? Anybody? Okay, there it is on the ES. I've got the up close there on the ES. There it is. Oops. Didn't do that. Bring that back up. There it is. Window always on top. Stop hasn't moved yet. It hasn't gone 4 ticks in profit yet. YM is flipping a bullish. So the ES should get up, at least get up into this stuff right here. Should at least get up into that. Okay, which is enough to get to break even. The NQ could give us a trade here, guys. It's going to give us a down close right now, but if it moves up a little bit, then gives us down close, and then the next bar gives us the up close. That's what I wanted. Up a little bit, and then a down close. And then the next bar gives us the up close. That's exactly what I want. All right, but the up close is kind of a sideways move for me. It's not what I wanted there. Starting to get a little more activity here on the ES. trading a little faster. I don't know if that's good or bad right now, but volume seems to be coming in a little quicker right now. See how the numbers are jumping around in bigger chunks. And it's 126. So we could have a trade here on the gold if we got a down close here. Followed by an up close, we could have a trade here on the YM too. We just need an up close on the YM. The NQ is still eluding trades. It's not quite there yet. The YM could be a trade. 92 up to 02, 89 up to 09. All right, the YM could still be a trade. It's not yet, but it could still be a trade. Okay, we're still in this ES trade right now. The low on this is 87. This would be buying 97 on the YM. Not the NQ, sorry, the YM. Yes, it's hopefully going to come around right now. Close back up above the midpoint, and then we'd have something there too. Right, the NQ didn't get into the oversold, so we didn't end up with a trade here. YM just gave us the up close. That is a trade. It's got to come out of the oversold. It hasn't shown it yet, but it will. Okay, so the YM actually just went up and bumped my stop to plus 1 tick. Okay. The ES closed back above the midpoint. That's a good thing for the trade that we're in. The YM just took me out with 1 tick. The NQ is still not a trade. Gold's still not a trade. Yes, it's taking some patience here. It wants to get up into all this stuff, which would be enough to get the stop to break even. It got up as far as 275 a couple minutes ago. The NQ's gone back into the overbought. It's come out of that down to the midpoint. Gold. That was actually a trade there on gold. Crap, I missed the trade on gold. Blizzard alert. It just looks funny coming across my screen here in North Carolina. Blizzard alert. All right, the YM is starting to tank. I hope it doesn't take the ES down with it. It's 129, guys. I'm going to have to wrap it up here in a minute. All right. Gold is starting to run again. And gold just went to plus 1 tick. Gonna lock in 3 on that. Gonna lock in 6 on that. And 10 on that. Okay, so we're out with 10 on the gold. The ES is back to break even. I think the ES is going to run here. But We are running out of time. Well, we have actually run out of time. So let's just call it here. We'll say 10 more on the gold and 4 trades. We'll just forget about the ES trade for now. This is how we're going to wrap it up. Okay. Today, 12/9/2025. In this session, we're up $1,550 with 10 contracts, or $155 with 1 contract. We've taken 4 trades. All of them were profitable. Every trade was profitable. Even the S trade is still struggling here, but I think the S is going to run. So far, since I've been doing this, in the 12 days that I've been keeping track of this, we're up $11,975 with 10 contracts, which is $1,197 with 1, or $997 per session with 10 contracts, or $99.79, which is just about the goal for the day if you round it up. We're averaging the goal for the day in these 15-minute sessions that I'm doing in the afternoons. What I usually have left is 15, 20 minutes. If you're not doing it, you should definitely do it. If you haven't taken a free trial, go here to mytradingiq.com, click on the purple button. There's no credit card required for the trial. Just click on that purple button and it will bring you to this registration page. Just fill out the form. Once you do, make sure you give us a TradingView login ID down there at the bottom. We'll get your indicators indicating for you and get you in the room in the morning with us. So you can have 2 hours a day with us doing this instead of just 15 minutes. ES is still struggling here. All right. And that is it. With that, we can pass it back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona, in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Dwayne is ready.
Yes. Recap of the morning session.
Today, it took 13 minutes and 9 trades to get to a total of $1,650 a contract.
Good job.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So I had a just in pop up on just in. U.S. regulator OCC confirms banks can act as an intermediary transactions. OCC is the Office of the Comptroller of Currency. I think that's a big deal. So
It probably is.
I'll have to figure it
For
out
banks,
later.
anyway.
But anyway, great job today, guys. We'll pick up where we left off. We just got 2 markets left to cover. Already covered. And as we were discussing, just as Michael came on, black step line. See on the way down how it was running parallel with red and falling. And right here, once it crossed over left side, right side, said we should look for retracement back to the BC. That looks like it's headed. Now, we covered all the markets in granular detail. If you missed any of today's broadcast, as soon as I sign off here in a few minutes, go to youtube.com/CFRN. Watch today's broadcast in its entirety. In fact, on our YouTube channel, you'll find over 2,900 daily episodes, archived, educational. Now, on this move up, there's the potential for turbulence right here at 50. I think we'll comment and at least make it to the BBC. And I suspect that pullback may hold. Now, next is gold. All right, here's where gold opened last night. Critical lines separate today, Thursday. Back here's Friday. That doesn't count. The weekly trading zones are published Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. So on Friday there was different zones, but zones this week, once they're published Monday morning, carved in stone for the entire week as they have been for the past 16 years. Well, we got 5 more days and that will be our 16th anniversary. So when price drops to a weekly trading zone, we expect support until proven otherwise. Price rallies up to a weekly trading zone, we expect resistance until proven. Now, These two big wicks sticking to the upside, go to the very top of that wick, just below that bearish cross. So I would say that's kind of bearish. Pull back to the BBC, and we're trying to catch a bounce, but this looks like a tough price is having it. So silver, this was the open last night, dropped to the short target and then bounced right up to the long target. You only need 2 pennies in silver to get your goal for this candle here. Opened at 58.2. Oh, 51, and it ran to 71. It's 20 cents. That one candle right there is $1,000 per. Resistance sends us to support. Price always reverts to the mean. The pullback holds more often than not. That sent us zone. Came all the way back to the short target. Then we got a huge leg and a retracement. And look at this thing fly. Wow. Now again, we got these big wicks sticking to the upside. And step line has crossed. So see, major pullback to the BBC here. That would put us at 59.96, which is a shame because at one point in the day we were over $61. But we know that a healthy market is pullbacks. Okay, leg retrace, leg retrace, leg retrace. Price trying to punch through blue and climbing. That's hard, but let's see. Highest weekly zones up at 65 bucks. I'm surprised we see that this week, but price is still trying to move higher. Keep in mind, the step line has crossed. So see, here comes. Once we take out these lows right across here, you got one more area for potential support right. You got a wick sticking up and a wick sticking down. Just cursor right between the two. Way down, 60-20 is potentially good support. Now, depending upon how long it takes price to get down there, if there's more sideways consolidation, the BBC is going to rise. So if the BBC were to rise to like 60-20, that would be some good support that just might hold. I don't know. Things. Okay. So on the daily, one last time on the S&P, the black step line has crossed. I highlighted in the workshop last week. I only went back to like July, but we're in an uptrend since April, and every pullback has held. Like even the 6-day pullback. This was the first pullback that didn't hold, and it quickly reversed. Then a week later, we got another signal. It actually did take us down. Okay, see leg retracement, pullback hill, leg retracement, pullback hill, then leg retracement, and this pullback didn't hold. We traded through. We know eventually we're going to trade through. So spent most of the year on the north side, daily BBC. Spent a few days below it. Now we're back above it, but we're heading back to it. Be surprised to see a little bit of a sell-off going into the close today. Keep in mind tomorrow's FOMC, 2 p.m. Eastern. Typically the markets kind of run sideways. Now if Anybody out there starts talking about the Fed may not lower rate because this quarter point rate cut is baked into the cake, I think that's what's holding the markets up today. Because there'll be a pop is delivered tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern. Traders want to be able to capture that move. After that, again, it's already baked into the cake. So they'll buy the rumor, sell the news thing. I think it applies here. I'm going to go out on a limb and say by close of business tomorrow, we're at the 62. See, that's if we get the rate cut that's expected. To become a member, learn how to read the charts, learn how to trade. Email Valerie, support@cfrn.net. Let her know that, and you understand that there's some kind of a monthly subscription that's available now for a limited time for the holidays. She'll explain that to you. She'll send you all the information you need to get signed up, whichever way you want to go. Once you're all signed up and an official passport holder, 2 hours of live training every trading day. It's an interactive environment. On top of the 2 hours of group training every trading day, get private one-on-one mentoring. Extra cost, just ask. Strategy you learn, the indicators you use as a passport holder, put across all markets and all times. Not just futures, stocks, Forex, crypto, ETFs. Doesn't matter. Price flows the same across all markets and all times. Support to resistance, back to support, back to resistance, over and over again and again. It's a never-ending cycle. That's the reason we have the Logic 247 alerts that come out around the clock. Teach you how to read a chart, to know where to anticipate support, anticipate resistance, simply by reading the chart. As a passport holder, you'll get the concierge trade alerts every evening, typically 5 minutes ahead of the Globex Open, which is 6 p.m. Eastern. Tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern, that will become Tuesday session. Tuesday session will end at 5 p.m. Eastern. Wednesday session will begin an hour later at 6 p.m. Eastern. And God willing, all of our members and even trial members will have numbers 5 minutes before. As a passport holder, you'll get the weekly trading zones every Monday at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. Be able to attend the members only workshop every Thursday night. And you'll get the set of golden keys that open the channel in Telegram. Everything a trader needs, all under one roof. Let's wrap it up with our good word for today. Character counts. 1 Samuel 16:7. Man looks at the outward appearance. The Lord looks at his heart. Here's a description of Saul, Israel's first king. There was not a more handsome person among the children of Israel. It's 1 Samuel 9:2. His looks couldn't compensate for his lack of character, and he died prematurely in shame. And Samuel the prophet went to the house of Jesse to anoint one of his sons as Israel's next king. God said, man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. Years ago, a boy was born in Russia who thought himself to be so ugly, certain there would be no happiness for him in life. He bemoaned the fact that he had a wide nose, thick lips, small gray eyes, and big hands and feet. He was so distraught about his appearance that he asked God to work a miracle, turn him into a handsome man. He vowed that if God would do this, he would give him all he possessed. That boy was Count Tolstoy. He became one of the world's foremost authors, best known for his epic. In his books, he admits that through the years, he discovered that the beauty of physical appearance he had once sought was not the only beauty in life, and it was not the best beauty. Instead, Tolstoy came to regard the beauty of a strong character as having the greatest good in God's sight. Character is not a matter of money or looks, but of doing what is right apart from money and standing up right heart. And that's our good word. Thanks so much for tuning in. Wherever you are, God continue to richly bless you, His mercy, His grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading E-mini futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.